Welcome back, Shop Rats. Today, here in the shop, we are back on the Stitches Challenger with an episode that a lot of you have been waiting for. Today, we're finally going to go ahead and hang that quarter panel on this car and move forward on the next steps of getting this car ready to put on the rotisserie. So we could talk about it or we could just do it. So let's just do it. One thing I want to say is the work that we do here doesn't just apply to a 70 Challenger. It can apply directly to any vehicle that you're working on. I'm Mike, and this is My Car's Shop.
Working out of a 100-year-old refurbished barn, bringing 35 years of experience to projects considered beyond repair. Vision, creativity, and problem solving are essential tools in this place. Watch as we transform junk into polished metal miracles. This is My Car's Shop.
I don't know what to say. I've looked this over and looked this over. I don't think I've missed anything. So let's just get it done. We're going to get a quarter panel put on there. If you've missed the previous two episodes where we've gone through and done all the prep work, I would encourage you to go check those out, because it's where we did all the fitting and trimming and all the gyrations that I go through. And just remember what I always say here is this is not necessarily the right way to do things. This is the way I do things. So learn from this, even if it's to say, well, I certainly wouldn't do it that way, and that's still learning, and that's okay. Sometimes you just about run out of vice grips, but that's a key thing here, is getting all of that around. Now I do want to make a note that the goal today is not to finish the quarter panel, as in, you know, getting everything welded and ground and bondoed and all of that stuff. That comes later. My goal today is to get the quarter panel welded to the car, and that'll be it. So for example, to final fit the wheel well, I need to have the wheel well trim. I can weld it to the inner well, that's not a problem, but to make that quarter panel fit properly, I've got to have the trim. The second thing is, you'll notice that the lip is a little wide, so we're going to have to do some trimming and stuff in there eventually. But for now, the goal is to get this together, and that's our objective here right now. So I've been going around just kind of squeezing and peening things and so forth, and just getting everything to line up. One thing I noticed is the front of my quarter panel right here is just the ever teeny bit long, which means it came back on and shifted forward just a little bit. So I got to run my cutoff down here because this is supposed to be a flush weld. That's normal. Also remember, we have a problem down here because of this cheap crap panel. We're going to have to make a slice down here somewhere to fix that. Not worried about that right now, but it is something that has to be done. I think we're in pretty good shape now all around, so I need to take my broken off drill bit and go through and clean up in all of those plug weld holes, so that I have clean metal to weld to behind. And of course, as I mentioned before, we will both be welding through the plug holes, and then we'll also run tack welds or spots all along until it's eventually all solid welded on the edge. That really gives it a lot of strength. A lot of people don't like the flanging like this, but I do, because wherever you have a flange and a double thickness of metal, you're adding strength. And with these cheap replacement panels, I prefer to have strength at this seam rather than doing like a cut and butt or a butt weld to put that on there. So there is a method to my madness on this, and I just wanted to make it clear that this is very intentional, because this is a lot thinner metal than the factory, and that lip does give it some strength. Well, speak now or forever hold your peace. She's ready to go. I readjusted the door gap just a little bit, put a piece of metal in there, took out a couple of clecos to open that up just a bit. It was a little tight, so I'm good with that now. All of this is fitted around here, and so it comes a point when you just gotta say it's time. So I think what I want to do is probably start in the middle and just start working my way out this way, and then we'll start working our way down until eventually, of course, we're doing the wheel well. So that way things just kind of spread out as we go. I think that makes the most sense, and I don't know if it's the right way or not. Like I said, it's the way I do it. So right, wrong, or indifferent, I've never had any big problems with doing it this way, so we're good. It's all spotted across the top. I want to go through and put some stitches between the spots, like I've done in a couple of spots here. I'm not going to finish weld it all today. The goal is to get it on the car. I was having some problems welding up in here, so when I get it on the rotisserie, I'm going to have to go back and do some work. But there's trimming to do and all kinds of other stuff, so that's fine for now. Particularly, I was having problems with overhead welding. Slag sparks and crap kept falling back into the tip of the welder. I need to get some new tips. I think that's the issue. These are old tips from a different gun that I've modified to work, and I think that's what's causing my problems. Well, I went ahead and couldn't quit, so I got it all stitched across the top now, and I'm just fixing to go down and weld down the front now. So we'll be bebopping around back and forth on that. So it's good progress for sure. Pretty much spotted in. I've got enough flash in my eyes from that stupid auto darkening helmet, which I'm still not convinced, guys. I know you keep telling me, but I'm telling you, it doesn't work as good as my other one did. So, but I keep trying it, I keep adjusting it and so forth, but either I can't see what I'm doing or it's too bright, and I think it's some of it is I'm just getting old and ornery, but I'm gonna go back and try my old helmet at some point. But anyway, I've been using it now since I bought it. I haven't used the other one at all. Trying to, you know, grit my teeth and get through it. But for small jobs, it works good. But for big stuff like this, the on and off stuff just isn't working for me. But anyway, enough whining about that. So anyway, it's all spotted. There's a few little pinholes and stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and shoot down that with the grinder real quick. And we're probably going to leave it at this state for now. We'll shoot some primer over it just so that it doesn't rust, and that'll be good for now. So we're getting there. A couple spots that it's a little bit low right in here, which that doesn't surprise me, because remember, we had all kinds of cutting out the original metal and then putting it back. So I'm going to have to slap that out just a little teeny bit right in there, because you can't, well, I might be able to get behind that and knock that out. One way or another, no biggie, we'll get that pretty flat. There was one other little spot down here, right there, that was a little bit high. I was able to take a hammer and knock that back a little bit. So, and I think as much that is from, there's a little teeny low spot right there. That's as much from the panel being a cheap piece of crap. We know we had a low spot here. We talked about that. That came that way, so it's fine. We'll that I can get behind, and now that it's attached, I can kind of knock that out of there, and it'll look flawless when I'm done with it. So I'm not worried about it. But it's definitely getting there, looking good. Let's do a little grinding. All right, she's ground down pretty good. I have one spot down in here, right there, where it was dented real bad. If you remember, grinding there split the edge, so I'm gonna have to weld that up. No biggie. I'm not gonna worry about that now, probably, but we'll just have to go in there and go bzz, 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 and touch that up a little bit. It's got that little dent in there yet, but that's fine. Looking pretty good. It's not perfect. Don't care. The thing that's interesting to me is, by the way, I've got to go back and fill in, you know, little holes and little divots and little pits, and there's a spot there to fill in, and another one here and another one there and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff to fill in yet. I don't know, I hadn't thought about it, but it may be a good exercise to pull out the TIG welder and do some of that fill with the TIG now that I've got it all on there. We'll see. Good practice, because I don't use it enough. I'm faster with the MIG, and I'm just in such a get it done mode right now that I really have neglected the TIG for the last few months for that reason. So this may be, maybe, I don't know, we'll see, maybe an opportunity to break it out and practice filling in some pits and grooves and things like that. So we'll see. But the thing with this is it'll get dressed up a little better, but one swipe of Tiger here and sand it down and it'll be amazing. So I got to decide right now, yeah, if I'm going to go ahead and do a little more there, or if I'm just going to shoot some stuff on here and call it good for now. I think we'll probably do some more. I just need to take a few minutes and gather my thoughts. That filled in, ground down, looks a lot better there. I've got it all welded all along there, all the little pits, except for that one. And just got to get the grinder out, grind it back down again. And I think I'm just going to shoot it with some etch primer for now and go from there. I didn't do it all the way down there because there's work to do down on the bottom, but I'm going to be lazy, and since I have a rotisserie and it's going to be going on the rotisserie here soon, I'll just do some of that bottom work down there once it's rotized. Is that the word? Yeah, once it turns. This is why I'm always concerned about fire. Grinder stuff came over here, got on that rag, caught it on fire or smoldering, so I could smell it. And so again, safety first. please keep your nose open to what you're doing so that stuff like this doesn't take your shop down. Okay, for those asking, the runs that were going down was on purpose. I was flooding down in there, all along there, that etching primer so that it gets down into those little pits and grooves, because I'm not really that interested in making that perfectly metal finished and all that. That's just too much time. One little skim coat of fiberglass and it'll be almost perfect, and it will be so thin and it'll be just fine for what this car is. You know, we're not making a Riddler Award car here. We're making a driver that's going to have a really good show quality paint job, yes, but yeah, good enough. That's it's got the quarter panel attached, and the thing that I'm excited about is the back of this car is stiff. This quarter panel up in here, now that it's all, well, right up in there now, where it was giving me problems, this quarter panel in here is really rigid and not flexing like it was. So big steps forward, letting that dry, then we'll shoot that with some black, and that'll be where we leave it. Well, there you go. Not too bad. And as I've said so many times before, it may not be the right way, but it's my way. Let me just clarify a couple things here. Yes, there's going to be a line of tiger hair across here. If I had bought a complete quarter panel, it would have been joined up in here, here, around the front, etc. None of that would have been there. Last time I looked, those things are, you guys tell me, you know better than I do, 500, 700, I don't know, bucks for a complete quarter panel. This was this one I paid 150 for. When I ordered the other one, I think it was 170, which we haven't received yet. But I can live with a small band of tiger hair and Bondo right here that's pretty thin and save myself several $100s on a car like this. So again, understand the context here. I've been doing them this way for a long time. I just like using the cheap panels because all I care about is what it looks like. And I don't care if there's a little mud here and there. That's fine with me. I'm not against Bondo. I'm only against Bondo when it's that thick. It's going to look good. And just like I said, understand the context here. Second thing, I did not get crazy trying to grind all these welds down and make it look like one piece of metal. And you know, I kind of did that here because it was flush welding. You know, we were butt welding there, I should say, not flush welding. This ground it down so that it feels smooth and it's got some imperfections in it. I shot it heavy with etching primer to just kind of flood it down into all of the little cracks and grooves, and good enough. I was pushing up and down on the back end of this thing. All of this deflection in here is gone. This car is actually stiffer on this side now, I think, than it is on the other side. I was actually pushing in here. When I was attaching this, I had an oil canning thing going on here. It's gone now. Everything's cooled back down, and that's good. And I was over pushing on the other quarter panel in this area, and it actually is weaker than this one. So I'm happy with that. We've got a little work to do in here where this body line isn't exactly right. And here it just needs to be crisped up a little bit. Half of that can be done in the primer. You would be amazed back, well, when the days when I was using the 2K primer. Yeah, we got a high spot right here. It goes, we got to that down a little bit, put a dolly in there, and that's fine. Anyway, before I started using the polyester primer, just using the 2K primer, you would be amazed how much, just by the way you block sand, how much you can move a body line around in that stuff with just a few mils of thickness. So I'm not worried about that too much. Like I said, we got a little, it's a cheap panel. I'm fine with it for a car like Stitches. So, all right. Well, let me know what you think down there in the comments. I really appreciate that. Love it or hate it, the more you comment, the more YouTube notices what we're doing here and shoots us up in the algorithm. So that's helpful. We're on the Face thing. Instagram loves us. And of course, we're here on the You thing. So please subscribe, hit the bell so you receive notifications. And most importantly, if you're in groups on Facebook or other websites and this kind of stuff is stuff that excites you, share a link to the channel or share a link to the episodes that you like. Let's get other people moving over here so we can get this thing going the way that I really hope that it will. So what's coming next? Well, we're going to slip the rear end back under it and put it back down on the ground on tires. That's probably coming next. I'd like to get this back down on the ground so that we can roll it back. And hopefully my buddy Mark will be available to come up and we can pull that old wide block 318 out and get some stuff stripped off of it and get it ready to put on the rotisserie. It's another thing we're going to be doing soon is building the rotisserie adapters for this car to fit it to that Eastwood 3000 rotisserie that was donated here to the channel. If you want to send me stuff, shoot me an email over there at mycarspage@gmail.com. I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you who do send stuff to the channel. It's not taken for granted. I am very, very grateful. Hopefully we're going to have some merchandise coming soon for the channel. Somebody's working on that, and hopefully we'll have an announcement about that coming soon. Also, I had mentioned quite a while ago we were going to be having another super clean drawing. I just got busy and we haven't done it, so we're going to try to get that done real soon. And yes, all of those Oakland parts boxes that were right here are gone through and moved over there just in case there's an issue, and we've gotten everything cleaned up down here so that hopefully we don't have any fire issues. All right, I think that'll do it. Did I forget anything? Oh! Rock!